Falcons are more closely related to parrots than to eagles. Horses are related to rhinos, and spiders share ancient traits with horseshoe crabs. Animals have evolved in ways that you really would not have thought of. All modern birds descended from a single common ancestor that was alive around 100 million years ago. Modern birds fall under the classification of avian theropods, making them the last living dinosaurs on our planet. After the mass extinction event around 66 million years ago, birds began to evolve into the species we know of today. What is interesting, however, is that falcons, although sharing similar characteristics to hawks and other raptors, are more closely related to parrots and songbirds. Falcons split from parrots and songbirds more recently than they did from hawks and eagles. Falcons evolved into a bird of prey, while parrots maintained a diet of fruit, seeds, and nuts. Instead of sing-songy calls and vocal mimicry of parrots, falcons share the high-pitched calls similar to other birds of prey. Parrots and songbirds are very social animals, relying on others for many aspects of their life. And when they are isolated or in bad captive environments, it will lead to stress, causing these birds to pluck their feathers. Unlike falcons, who prefer a solitary lifestyle, and are usually only in pairs during the mating season and when looking after their young. Despite sharing a genetic ancestry with parrots, falcons are an example of convergent evolution, where they evolved similar traits to other birds of prey. But birds are not the only animals that change how we look at evolution. Spiders and horseshoe crabs are two extremely old species whose lineage dates back around 500 million years. That makes them older than trees, which started growing on our planet around 380 million years ago. Most animals at that time were marine animals, and arachnids were no different. Arachnids and horseshoe crabs belong to the subphylum Chelicerata. They are categorized by having two main segments to their body, and have 8 walking legs, 2 pedipalps used for feeling and feeding, and 2 fangs or pincers called chelicerae. And horseshoe crabs usually have 2 more walking legs. Once arachnids separated from the lineage and moved to land, they evolved book lungs for breathing that come from the book gills still present in horseshoe crabs today. The earliest relatives of arachnids resembled sea scorpions. The modern spider we know of today started appearing 500 million years ago. Meanwhile, horseshoe crabs look very similar to their ancestors, and modern scorpions look similar to their ancient selves, only much smaller. And while some of these relationships go back hundreds of years, others are much closer. Sloths and anteaters are both extremely recognizable animals native to Central and South America. They last shared a common ancestor around 60 million years ago, likely to be a small insectivorous mammal. They belong to a group called the xenarthrans that include armadillos, categorized by their unique joints in their lower spine that are not found in any other mammal. The joint called the xenarthrous joints helps strengthen the spine, making it stiffer, allowing for digging and supporting their body. The joints that existed in the larger sloths that used to walk on 2 legs have been lost in some modern sloths. Because of that, and the design of their muscles, it allows them to hang and maneuver in the trees, but makes them very slow and vulnerable on the ground, where they have to crawl, pulling themselves along for movement. Besides that difference, Xenarthra share a strong sense of smell, navigating their world mainly by scent, making up for their very poor vision. And this next one involves animals you probably think you already understand. Horses and rhinos both came from a common ancestor that originated from North America around 55 million years ago. They both belong to the order of odd-toed ungulates, separate from even-toed ungulates, which is pretty much all other 4-legged hooved mammals. That means they are all related to one another. However, rhinos and horses share a more recent ancestor within this group, which gave them odd-numbered toes in their hooves. More accurately, there are 3 animals within this order which are equidae. That includes modern horses, donkeys, and zebras, which all have 1 toe, rhinoceridae, which have 3 toes, and tapiridae, that all have 4 toes on their front foot, but 3 on their back. It is believed that horses and rhinos evolved from animals like Hyracotherium, a small mammal likely the size of a dog. After separating further, rhinos traveled across continents to Eurasia and Africa, where they evolved further into how we know of them today. Meanwhile, rhinos that stayed in North America eventually went extinct. Horses followed a similar pattern. They migrated to Eurasia, where they settled. Later, they were then domesticated and were spread throughout the world by early human settlers. Native North American and Eurasian horses went extinct, Today, most wild horses are feral. They are descendants of domesticated horses, with the Przewalski horse being the only true wild species left. But most modern horses are descendants of the domesticated version or a cross between wild and domesticated horses. But the most unbelievable connection in the animal kingdom is still flying above us today. Theropods are a group of dinosaurs that lived from 230 million years ago, from the late Triassic period until the late Cretaceous extinction event around 66 million years ago. In this group were well-known dinosaurs like the Velociraptor, Allosaurus, and the Tyrannosaurus rex. They are categorized by being bipedal with hollow bones that typically had 3 weight-bearing toes, and in most cases they have primitive feathers which were simple and resembled tufts of hair. Avian theropods began to diverge from other theropods around 160 million years ago. The slow, gradual evolution made them smaller, lighter, and their feathers evolved in multiple different stages, eventually leading to the complex structures as we know today. Avian theropods are modern-day birds, that is, your eagles, pigeons, chickens, and even penguins. They are all living dinosaurs that come from the theropod lineage, making them distant cousins of the Tyrannosaurus rex, the last and most advanced tyrannosaur lineage before the mass extinction. A lineage that began its evolution around a similar time period as the beginning of the bird lineage, which means the age of dinosaurs did not end the way that we think. Imagine a world where avian theropods went extinct and theropods did not. That would be insane. Thank you for watching.